The story you're about to hear comes from a land far, far beyond your maps, the land of magical Rome universe, where magic is real, the gods are watching, and ambition is a dangerous game. My name is Gellius Varro. Those who know me as a friend, men and women just like you, they call me the keeper of stories. Stories about magic, adventure, danger, and the shadows that haunt magical Rome universe. Draw closer now. Let us begin. By mid morning, working class denizens came in waves to eat lunch, and the little Tiber began bustling with activity. It was time to serve warm stew and grilled meats. The bar was usually empty at this time of day. However, a man sat alone in the far corner, nursing his wine cup. I knew him slightly. His name was Ruga, and he owned a small gladiatorial school on the northern slope of the Picalian hill. On that day, Ruga's face looked unusually wrinkled, and his skin was ashen. For a man in his early 40s, that seemed odd. I went behind the bar. Welcome, Ruga, I said, but barely got a nod from the forlorn man. He pushed his cup toward me, and I refilled it with wine and water. What ails you, my friend? I asked. Ruga said nothing. He gulped the drink and thumped his cup on the bar. He was not yet ready to talk. Perhaps I should tempt him with today's special. How about a warm bowl of lentil soup with beans and chickpeas? I said, gesticulating to my daughter Jelia to bring over the stew. Leaving Ruga to his meal, I went about my tavern, making sure everyone was well fed and merry. The little Tiber runs on full stomachs and happy hearts. A while later, I returned to check on Ruga. Color was returning to his skin. When he saw me approach, a hint of a smile brightened his face. We exchanged pleasantries, and he plunged into his tale. Ruga came from humble beginnings. He had been a slave until 12 years ago when he gained his freedom from Senator Cato. Once he was a freedman, Ruga became Cato's client, and Cato became Ruga's patron. That is our social custom. As Ruga's patron, Senator Cato supplied Ruga with coin and influence to set up a gladiatorial school. That's how Ruga became the master of his gladiatorial school, or a Lanista. Over the years, Ruga flourished, buying and selling gladiators, training them, and making them fight in gladiatorial contests. His gladiators excelled in combat, and they brought glory to Ruga, and by extension to Senator Cato also. Now, here's where Ruga's tale took a turn. Even though he had earned enough coin to last 3 generations, Ruga's social standing remained mediocre, no better than that of a butcher or a bath attendant, denizens of far less means than him. I agreed with him. It is true, coin alone is not enough to gain prestige, and prestige is everything in magical Rome. So Ruga decided to become a senator and elevate his prestige. But no one took his ambition seriously. Not his friends, not the other Lannister whose gladiators fought against his, and much to his surprise, not even his own wife and children. Annoyed with those he held close to his heart, Ruga approached his patron Senator Cato. He confessed his grand plans of becoming a senator and requested for a loan of 1 million sesterces. that would make him eligible for senatorship. Senator Cato did not say no directly. Instead, he spoke at length how crucial entertainment was for the denizens of magical Rome, and how Ruga, as a provider of that entertainment, was performing a service of utmost civic importance. In short, Cato sent Ruga back to continue his work as a Lanista. Ruga sighed. I don't think Senator Cato will ever help my ambition. I just don't know what to do. As the keeper of my tavern, I meet men and women with all sorts of stories that ache their souls. And lack of prestige is a common malady, especially among those whose hearts want more. And yet, in Ruga's case, I knew there was no path to senatorship. So I decided to invent a story that would bring solace to Ruga's grieving heart. Taking this creative liberty, I began my tale. No one knows when this story is from or who carried it before me. It is not written in the tablets and scrolls that lie in the Senate library. There was a freedman, I told Ruga, a freedman like you and me. His real name is lost in the mists of time. Let's call him by his Roman name, Marcus. Marcus was a rebel in Gaul. He was captured and sold into slavery to a wealthy silk trader in our mighty city. Marcus served his master and his family well, and in return, his master helped him learn the fine art of pottery to prepare him for life after freedom. When his time came, Marcus's master set him free and bought a small shop for him to practice his newly learned craft. Marcus thrived as a potter, and within 5 years he had expanded his trade, both in the mass of customers and in the number of potters who worked under him. But Marcus's heart grew restless when he saw senators wielding real power in the city. As a 50-year-old man, Marcus knew it was impossible for him to become a senator within his lifetime, unless Marcus came up with a plan. He traveled back to his original home in central Gaul and sought out a dark druid whom he remembered from his youth. I want to become a senator of Rome, Marcus told the druid. Can you help me? The druid looked at him for a long while, as if peering into Marcus's soul. I might, he finally replied, but what will you give me in return? Anything you desire, Marcus said. I have enough coin to keep you happy for your lifetime. But the druid did not want Marcus's coin. I want something that's dear to you now, but you won't miss it in the future. What's that? Marcus asked, curious. Give me your skills as a potter. The druid raised his finger sternly. Every drop of your skill will belong to me on the day you become senator. Surely I won't need pottery skills when I am a senator and have prestige, Marcus thought, and so he agreed to the druid's price. But a part of him cried out. Being a potter had been an important part of Marcus's identity as a man and a denizen of magical Rome. Was he acting in haste? But he could not think of any other way. He had to sacrifice that part of him on his path to senatorship. The druid performed a magical ritual. Then he told Marcus to return to Rome. At first, nothing changed in Marcus's life. Then, 2 months later, a senator's slave asked him the price of the ornate amphoras Marcus was making. 17 sesterces each, Marcus replied, quickly calculating his profit. The slave disappeared in the crowd, but came the next day with an ox cart and ordered 50 amphoras. Gifts for my master's friends who attend his party tonight, he told Marcus. A week later, more slaves of other senators came with ox carts and ordered even more amphoras. This happened week after week, much to Marcus's delight. He grew richer by day as he got more and more commissions from powerful men. Then he started getting invited to parties, first of minor officials like quaestors, later, aediles and praetors also called upon him. And finally, he was even invited to the new consul's house on the evening he took office. As Marcus's trade flourished, so did his inroads into high magical Roman society. Having cast aside his old patron, the one who helped him start his pottery trade, Marcus became the client of a powerful praetor who promised him 1,000,000 sesterces for senatorship. 3 years after the druid had performed his magical ritual, Marcus contested for a seat in the Senate and won. But the new senator's heart was still a potter's heart. He would often return to his old shop to supervise his workers, but was too scared to create anything with his own hands. One day, curiosity got the better of him, and Marcus tried to carve a bowl. But his head did not guide him, and his hands could not create even a simple bowl. Much to his dismay, Marcus realized that the druid had indeed extracted his prize. Marcus had lost his skill of pottery, a skill that had given his life meaning and identity. Soon, complaints from customers about the declining quality of goods began streaming in, and many of his potters quit. So his trade began to suffer. Resigned to his fate, Marcus sold his shop at a massive loss to one of the men who worked under him. Even though he had gained superficial prestige through his status as a senator, Marcus knew that he had lost the respect of old customers, the love of his men, and pride in his work. The community bonds that had once nourished his soul were a thing of the past. He was forced to wear a mask of success in public, and he lived out his days as a mediocre senator and a broken man. Bringing the story to an end, I gave Ruga a piece of heartfelt advice. I believe that there is an invisible trap built into the fabric of our society. It is the social ladder. The ladder always points towards promises that lie at the rungs above. But while luring us, the ladder blinds us to what we leave behind when we climb. Ruga gave half a nod, and the angles of his lips twisted in a smile. Maybe he understood the value of my words. Maybe he will think about the message of my story when his mind is still. Or he might relegate my words to the ramblings of a foolish and unambitious man. Regardless, my work for the day is done. I have gained a story and I have told a story. As the keeper of stories, that makes me very happy. The tale is told and you have heard the truth. All my stories are carried in your universe by the storyteller A. David Singh. If you wish to hear more, 7 epic tales are waiting for you at the gates of magicalrome.com/epic. That is magicalrome.com/EPIC. I am Gellius Varro, and I will return with another story very soon.